Hi there guys, Soggles here, and today we're back in Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm going to be talking about something in this game that's kind of irritating me, so it could turn into kind of like a mini rant. So if you're not kind of interested in that thing, then feel free to go, but if you are, then feel free to leave your opinion on this in the comments, because you never know, it might be something that's pissing you off too. And oh, I don't think I'm going to see an example of it here, but ow, shit. Basically, it's the fact that I'm pretty sure that every single guard, unlike enemy in Assassin's Creed Unity, has a pistol, which it irritates me so much. Right, I'm trying not to make this into a rant. So basically, the problem is that in the old Assassin's Creed games, you had different kind of classes of enemies. So you'd have your kind of poxy cannon fodder enemy who wasn't really good at much and were pretty fun to just kind of mow down with ridiculous kill streaks. You'd have your agile enemy who would chase after you and kind of tackle you. Not very difficult to take down in combat, but bloody irritating if you're trying to run away. You'd have your polearm enemy who had a different parry and block time to the others, so that made them difficult. You had your heavies who just generally had to dodge out of the way of their attacks, then counter, which kind of broke up combat a bit because you had to do something different instead of just counter kill, counter kill, counter kill. Then you'd have your badass enemies who were very, very powerful, could block and dodge very easily, and had a pistol, which if you weren't careful you'd end up with a rather large ball bearing in your cranium. The problem that I found with Unity is that they've kind of made all the enemies into the badass enemies, which is kind of annoying, because if you're like me and you can only carry 5 medicine flasks, or whatever you want to call them, it means that even the really, really pox enemies are capable of doing massive amounts of damage. And I know that this does increase in the level of difficulty quite a bit, and people are starting to like difficult games more, but to me it makes it more irritating, because it's like you kind of look there, him, the man with the hat. I think that it should only be him, that sort of enemy, and the snipers, because there's also snipers who have rifles, so obviously they're going to have a gun. I think it should only be them who have the ability to use a pistol, rather than them, the heavies, the normals, the polearms, or those sorts of people. Because it means that when you're trying to take out some, there's a few awkward situations that you can get yourself into. So say that you're currently fighting a heavy, a badass, and a polearm guy, and then one of the poxy cannon fodder enemies comes up. Then, if they're a certain distance away, their AI will tell them to shoot at you, which means that while you're having to employ all the other tactics for the other enemies, you're having to dodge them too. Or say that when you're running away, it kind of means that rather than having the fast enemies who tackle you, instead you've just got, everybody's got a gun, so everybody can kill you in 2 shots, which makes running away stupidly difficult. And it just irritates me, really. I think it's they've kind of moved away from oh, hello, bloody hell. They've kind of moved away from the classes of enemies, and instead just made them, all have guns. And it's this area, not that man's arse, this area that I'm at here at can't speak. This area where I am right now, with that those green lines, because I'm currently doing the Paris Story Coat of Arms mission, but I'll do that later, because in that area I don't see how you can sneak in, but that means that you're constantly going to be getting attacked, and seeing as every enemy has a gun, any enemy that's on the roof, any enemy that's more than 5 paces away from you, any enemy that can see you out the corner of the eye, they're going to all pull a gun on you and shoot your arse off, basically. And it's just kind of irritating me. There's been a fair few times when I've just said, you know what, fuck it, I can't be arsed anymore, I'll do this later. Which annoys me, because it never used to be like that. And I think that the whole everybody has a gun thing is sort of made combat cheap. Because it's like, oh, you know, like, rather than sort of timing your counters and whatnot, it's just, you're trying to block until you see that gun icon, in which case you roll like crazy. And half the time, you're too busy trying to block people to roll like crazy. So it's... I don't like it, and I think that they should have kept the old class system in. Because it... As I say, I think it just makes the game cheap, and it's kind of irritating. So... that's about it, really. That's my rant over. So if you've watched this far, very thank you much for watching. Yes, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to leave your view or counter argument or whatever in the comments below, and I shall see you in the next video. Cheerio.